Hello, everyone, and this is another episode of Relationship Rhetoric. This is your host, Crystal Jordan, and I have a very special guest here with me today, judge, author, philanthropist, leader, city leader, Terrinee Gundy.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with my friend. I feel like I've known you for decades now, and I am so proud to be here with another author.
This is
Yes.
the author version of Relationship Rhetoric. But I'm so excited, Terrinee, because today we're talking about a topic that is near and dear to both of us.
Yeah.
And so with this clip, I want us to watch this clip.
Okay.
Because we always talk about, this issue, and a lot of times people look at it as something funny. But we're going to come back and talk about what do you do when the joke is absolutely on you or your family.
Yeah.
Okay? Take a look.
My mind's telling me no, but that crack, y'all, that crack keeps telling me yes, gotta go.
Okay, so I think that pop culture specifically, a lot of times people that are struggling with drug addictions are a big part of the joke, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's funny, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's funny. But, your book, Daughter of a Junkie.
A true love story.
A true love story. I love that. You talk about the fact that your father actually struggled with drug addiction.
Yes.
And so I knew when, I thought about this conversation, I wanted to ask you from a daughter's perspective who was in love with her father,
Yes.
Who had an amazing father, has a great story to tell about the relationship with her father. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give someone who has a loved one? It could be a significant other, or it could be a family member who is struggling with drug addiction.
I think that the advice that I give everyone is just what I have learned. My father's been smoking crack cocaine since 1978. It is a daily battle. But like you said, he is an amazing father. He was wonderful to me. He is very supportive of the book. He is we call them street vendors now, but he has a tent on a corner, and he sells my book on his corner.
Oh, wow.
He has a big poster up. He's very proud of me in this entire project. So it's really hard for me to approach any relationship because I don't look at him or other people just based on their addiction. Right. I look at them as humans. And I think that all humans deserve dignity, respect, love, and grace. And so I feel like whenever you're dealing with a family member, someone you love, a significant other, everyone deserves that. And it's not just we talk about it like addicts are the only ones dealing with trauma or issues, but everybody deals with life. Life be lifing.
Life be lifing.
And it comes at you, and everybody at some point needs a little bit of grace, a little bit of understanding. But despite what we go through, we all deserve respect.
Right.
And love and dignity. And so I feel like growing up with my father, who I adore, that kind of taught me to approach all humans that way.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because we don't hear those words specifically when it comes to drug addiction, when it gets to a certain point, right?
Yeah.
So let's take it down to a romantic relationship, right? I have a friend who recently discovered that the guy she was in a relationship with, she's in love with, is abusing cocaine. Okay, now that's serious, and most people, their initial reaction would be, girl, run. What would your advice to someone who finds themselves in that position be?
So, just in all candor, I would run.
That's real.
and not run because of the person or their addictions per se, like I don't respect them or I don't care about them or I don't love them. But when you have dealt with your parent being an addict over 40 years, you know what you have the capacity for. And so as a human, myself, I always say, I don't owe me to anyone. So I have to put myself first. And I know what capacity and what I can handle. And I cannot handle a mate that is on drugs because I've used up all of that bandwidth on my father. Now that doesn't mean I've had friends who have helped their significant other through situations. But again, they had a different bandwidth for that specific issue, which
Right.
is why I think that you always have to approach a relationship. I mean, we have so many generalities about relationships, and I always say that a relationship is between two people.
Right.
What you and I agree on is between the two of us. No one else can judge us. No one else can tell us how our relationship should be or what expectations we should have. Only you can determine that.
Yeah.
And so that's my advice.
Yeah.
You don't have to sacrifice yourself for your significant other. You just have to figure out what capacity you have and the bandwidth you have to go on whatever journey you choose. Now, if you're talking about other journeys, I have a lot more bandwidth for that.
Right.
You
Right.
know, starting a business. You know, my father was a serial entrepreneur. My father had many adulterous relationships and affairs. I don't look at it the same way as maybe a common person does.
Okay.
Because I still saw him love my mom through it. So I have maybe a different capacity for different issues that come up in a relationship.
Right.
But I have no bandwidth left
For that particular issue.
for drugs. And it's not even addiction. I have no bandwidth for recreational use.
Gotcha.
But that's, again, I know me.
Because of what you've gone through in your
Because of what
experience.
I've gone through in my experience. And that's no judgment on anyone else, which is why I say we all have to decide for ourselves. But I always put tyranny first
Right.
and then pour into my mate.
Right. And that's what you have to do. But I love the fact that you can agree across the board that everyone deserves dignity, everyone deserves respect and love. Now, whether
Yes.
that love is with me
Right.
or not, maybe something different,
Yes.
right? Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, please make sure that you pick up your copy of The Daughter of a Junkie, A True Love Story. When I tell you I started this book and I'm already sucked into just a story that's written from a very different perspective than we've seen. You have, you're an extremely successful woman, but I love the fact that you were able to write a story that has so much candor, so much
Yes.
honesty.
And my father contributed
and that he's
to so much of
outselling
my
the
success.
book. He's outselling. You gotta
Yes.
support both of them. The both of them with The Daughter of a Junkie. This has been Crystal Jordan with another edition of Relationship Rhetoric. We'll be right back here the next time on The Recap Room.